Welcome back to Dot Twang. I'm Dave. A little Texas boogie kind of that blues thing here today. Not sure why. Just, sometimes I come in here and I just start messing around and I get like a drum loop going. And I guess the tempo, I don't even think I set the tempo. It was like some reason it was, let's see, where is it? Yeah, I didn't even switch this over. It's 125. Who knew? And I just started, I wanted to do, some kind of minor pentatonic stuff because we've been doing some of that on YouTube the last couple of weeks. And I just started messing around. I got on that A, chord and it's just kind of went this route. So I can show you what I did in that intro pretty dang quick because I'm not an expert at this style, right? I'm kind of country, Texas. I mean, obviously, if you wanted to really get into something like this, you could just start by looking at ZZ Top lessons, listening to ZZ Top songs, and seeing how much of it you can sort out. But maybe this will, give you some ideas of how to use your own stuff over a tune like this. And the backing track should be fun. I spent a little bit more time on the backing track on this one, trying to, mix the drums and the bass and stuff a little bit or whatever. And I never use a pick when I play bass, but I did on this because it's just going. Everything else I did to try to kind of, do my usual bluesing around or whatever on the bass. I'm not a, great bass player. Was like, no, that's not. It's got to be nastier than that. So finally, I picked up my pick and just started going. Tucka, 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 tucka. It was perfect. Right. Don't overthink stuff is the lesson there. So here we go. Here's our backing track. It's A. Turn that up a little bit for me. And then it just goes down to G. Okay. Okay, and I'm doing a little bit of open and close. I probably used an open G chord like that instead of the bar chord, but I was just doing that to show you that you could, play bar chords over it if you want. Make your own loop if you need to slow it down or something. So here's the main business that I'm doing in here. It's just about all of it is minor pentatonic. So the first thing you can do is just get your minor pentatonic octaves sorted. Okay. And if you want, the YouTube video this week was about really looking with a microscope at the 5 shapes of the minor pentatonic. And I did it in A too, okay? So I didn't use a backing track and stuff then. Maybe that's how this happened, is I was doing that and then I put that drum loop on and I just wanted something that really rocky and basic that we could work out on this with. So that's what I would recommend is just go around to your different shapes and locations, regions of the neck, and just play that scale. Then go ahead and just drop your chord in there, whatever chord makes sense for what region you're in. This is a really important one in A because you get that open, that. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay, but don't skip this part of it, right? Like, no, I don't need to go and I know all my shapes and all that. But get it under your fingers. And when you're playing, like say this shape one here, you know, don't just kind of, you know, phone in the bottom notes. Like make sure you're stylizing that. All right. Sometimes we just either don't go down there, or when we do, we kind of get a little flat footed or whatever. That stuff's got to be juicy too. See if you can make those similar sounds in all the different places. And now, if you get that and start kind of getting the rhythm going of it, you know, if the loop is too high of a tempo at first, then just kind of work off to the side or make a loop or get a metronome or a simple drum beat. Could be just any rock beat, and you know, set that metronome setting on whatever device or app you're using to something that's appropriate, to where you can get that swing kind of deal where you're working inside that 4-beat measure, but you're kind of able to swing it around. You'll get it. Uh, but you may have to you got to bring it down in tempo to where that groove starts to kick in, and then bring it back up. Okay, don't just try to force it at a higher tempo at first. And then some of the other stuff is, you know, a few of these key double stops, like this is the one place where it's not strictly minor pentatonic, because you got that you could call that the 6 of the A. Okay, I'm not using any major thirds really, other than the bend that approaches that. A lot of our other blues playing that we do on this channel, and recently too, is we're really going after that full. That would work for a piece like this as well. But if you really want to make it swampy, stick more to the bending the minor third. Okay, and again, you want to be doing that on every octave possible. So what's going to help for a lot of you is just seeing this kind of slowed down, like, oh, okay, I hear that all the time. So that's where you would make that backward slide there is another thing that's nice in this style. So see, turns out we're just using a lot of really fundamental and common shapes of pentatonic. Sorry, I should have dragged that like. See, I started getting lazy. I wasn't really playing right there. I started to kind of check out, and my hand didn't execute that. Doesn't sound good, right? When you do a simple hammer or something, it's not, it's simple in its composition, but like, how you touch the instrument and the emotion that you put into that hammer is everything. So it comes alive. And that's what you want to really be going for here. Keep it simple with your composition, the stuff, the notes that you're using, but really go after the dynamics. This is fun. Make sure you're having fun with it, because like, if you need to be out on, like, you're out on a dance floor at a wedding, and it's not like the beginning of the night. It's like when the stuff's getting funky and crazy and loose out there on that dance floor. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. And all of a sudden you're looking at some people that you've known a long time and thinking, man, ooh, these people are a lot heavier than I thought. Sometimes it's like distant relatives or whatever. You're like, wow, Aunt Martha there is, it's getting pretty wild. So that's what you want to do with this, is like almost go over the top with that kind of way that you're approaching it. And it's fun and it works because you don't have to worry about like what scales and notes to play and stuff. You can just really get into it. So hang out even in just one spot and really dance like nobody's watching. Whenever I start looking at myself on the screen when I'm doing that, it never works out, right? It's just silly, really. It's like I don't need to look at it. It's just like right in my face. So that's a kind of a game plan. Get in there and really just work out on that you kind of the heavy bag deal. Just stay in close and tight and just really go after it. So a couple of moves melodically, and then I'll cut you loose on this, because the key is to keep it simple. And get a nice tone, get a nice dirty tone, and so the thing comes alive, right? But sometimes I'm jumping up from that octave, like, there's a lot of roots being used, right? So just you don't really need me to talk about that a whole lot. Just that business of jumping up to that root that you just came from. And that is so effective in this style. Right. Yeah, it's just you can't overuse that really in something like this. If you stylize it enough, it always works. And the other thing is the use of the blues note. Okay, so the blues note in minor pentatonic is the note between the fourth and the fifth, if you're talking chord tones. So, so we got root, minor third, 4, 5. Okay, Then it has a flat 7 too. That's the 5 notes. But in between that 4 and 5, so what I'm doing a lot in here is trilling that from the 4. All right, and you want to be testing that out at a bunch of different locations. All right. The other way that you use it a lot is that kind of dragging back on it, like we just were doing earlier down here, but instead of from 2 frets, like in the full pattern, you can roll up into it and back, or you can just start by pulling down from. Okay. And then, of course, you can just kind of go right by it and include it when you're going down the blues scale. This is so much fun because whether you're playing with the track or you're off to the side or just whatever you're doing, you can just really move around and use those few things that we just talked about. And it's melodic and it's rhythmic, right? And it's rocking. Okay. So I'm going to leave it at that. I think that's enough, ideas and material. Basically use an A minor pentatonic. You start off by locating your octaves, then figure out where that blues note is and include that in different manners of embellishment, and then just get into your bends and hammers and stuff, and just stay in the pocket, stay in these places. But also, if you're real familiar right here, then back it up, a little bit at a time, move to other positions of that pentatonic and see if you can figure out the same sort of things in each one of the shapes. Let me know how it goes. Appreciate you. Talk to you next time.